Is that my best side? Oh, hello. Well, have you heard? The General Product Safety Regulation has come into force as of yesterday. Friday the 13th of December 2024. Yes, Friday the 13th. Now, I'm sure they did it on purpose, just to piss all off. But you see, some sellers are quaking in their boots that they are. They are petrified. But don't worry, I'm going to try to explain to you what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing. What is the GD? Was it GPG? Anyway, the General Product Safety Regulation. Before we do, would you be always kind, boot the old like button? It helps the channel, you know, but also subscribe to the channel if you think we're worth it. Yeah. And maybe tickle that little bell icon there, because then you get notified, you see. You'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. You've got to support the channel, you do a Patreon, or buy us a coffee. So what is the General Product Safety Regulation? Oh dear. Many sellers are going to make that decision. Snap decision in some cases, because maybe they don't need to shut up shop. Stop exporting into the European Union or any member state within. Now, where this gets complicated is for the United Kingdom. And many platforms have made preparation for this, such as eBay. Amazon, so I've been told recently, there's a complication there, for which I'll actually explain in a mo. I've also got a video clip from, a bloke and his sidekick making a video trying to explain the General Product Safety Regulation. And although some of the information they give was spot on, there's a particular piece of information there you need to be very, very careful of, because it's given the impression that you don't have to do anything. You most definitely do. Now, if you are based in the EU, you've still got to comply with the General Product Safety Regulation. But your designated person can be you, because you're based in the EU and you probably live in the EU. So your information just needs to be included with your products, which you're probably doing that anyway, to be honest. I know I do, because I sell on Etsy now, and on my own website. But these are all things that we need to be aware of. Now, if you're outside of the European Union and importing or exporting into the European Union, well, you're going to have to add all the information that I need to, but also you need a designated driver. No, a designated person. Yes, that's what you need to actually take responsibility for your products. Yes, a point of contact. A first point of contact. Now, unless you've got somebody who can do that for you, you're going to have to employ somebody to. And there will be services out there that companies that provide those services. Then the problem is they're going to cost you. It's not going to be free, is it? No. How else is it going to work? This is going to cause massive problems. It's going to reduce the amount of listings on sites like eBay and Amazon. So choice for those in the EU will be decimated somewhat, especially from the smaller sellers, if you want random products. Let's say, for instance, somebody who lives, an expat, an immigrant living in the EU, and they want themselves a new free box. Yeah, you can't buy one in the EU. No, not from your general stores and what have you, because, they've got their own TV, celestial and satellite television. Maybe you want a satellite box, a new HD box, well, you're going to need a UK one if you want UK television. Not really supposed to, but anyway, people do, all right? Well, what you're going to need to do is buy it from the UK and get it imported into the EU. What if they no longer sell into the EU because they don't sell enough to make it worth their while? That's quite likely, And many of those people residing in the EU, I bet many of them are Brexiters. I wouldn't be surprised, because I know a few as well. Who thought leaving the European Union is a good idea, even though they live in the EU. Madness, absolute madness, cognitive dissonance. They're swimming in this stuff. But you see, So if you're outside of the European Union, you need a designated person. But also for those inside and outside, you have to make sure that you upload all the information that has been asked of you from where the product was made, what country, what have you, and who are the manufacturers, who are the importers as well. And that's for every element of your product. Now, if you're a jewelry maker and all your beads come from different places, you've got a little bit of a problem that you have. Now, if you do handcrafts and stuff like that, and you are the manufacturer, well, then that's fine. You still need to upload information, but that's you. You are the manufacturer. And if you're sourcing your own materials as well, not paying for them and not importing them, but then quite for myself, I use wood because I'm a woodworker, and the stuff here is quite easy to get hold of. So I mean, rural Limson. There's trees everywhere there is. And also I've got a good stock of it. So anyway, so I supply my own timbers and it's not imported. So it's not a problem. But any elements I add to it, such as if I'm making a thermometer and I want to add an electronic thermometer to it, the likelihood is it'll be imported from China, the thermometer part. So I have to list that. Probably you could do that probably in the technical element as as you're going into the description of the product, you could probably do it there for those kind of things, as long as you give all the information. But it makes it complicated. We don't really know yet, you see. There isn't enough information out there provided by the European Union or on the actual EU Commission website. There's just not enough information there yet. So you can work out for yourself exactly what needs to be done. It's a little bit sort of fluffing around the edges, really. I feel this is gonna be a moving thing. It's gonna evolve, and we'll basically learn and get to know exactly what we need to do. But it goes on and on and on. There's quite a bit that has to be done. There is some PDFs at the end here, which I will put a link in the description, giving you more explanation of what you got to do. But basically, you can just upload a shitload more information. You've got to upload some more pictures. You've got to prove that your CE marks and stuff like that. It's no good just writing on the product saying it's a CE mark. You've got to say, who did it? You need to prove that it was done in the EU. You can't have a CE mark with all the required documentation to go with that from the UK. Because what you remember is, stuff in the UK isn't getting tested. If it needs testing, that is. Not all products need testing. It could be a declaration. But, if it needs testing in the United Kingdom, well, it ain't going to comply, is it? It needs to be done in the EU. That doesn't happen. No. We have no access. Oh, dear. Oh, I wonder why. Is it Brexit? Maybe. Now, this scheme, the General Product Safety Regulations, isn't anything new. That has been talked about for a good long while. We had the directives, which weren't really working very efficiently, so they come up with this. And although, in essence, this is a good idea, I really do feel for sellers on eBay and Amazon and Shopify, any of those places, but also other businesses who want to export. Now, if you're a big company, the likelihood is you're going to have the money and everything you need to set this up. You might even already have a reliable person, a designated person in the EU. So you can carry on as you were. It won't make a huge amount of difference to you because you got the money to do it. But for old Joe blogs, it gets complicated and it can get expensive. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? So, what has been said by this couple? I tell you so. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Oh dear, I'm sure they're lovely, alright? I don't know with people, and they seem nice enough and what have you, but I think they're giving a little bit of incorrect information, or at least the impression is that they're giving some incorrect information. And let's be fair, it is early days, and everyone's just feeling their feet with it, and the European Union hasn't been that helpful. No. And nor has eBay, and nor has Amazon, nor has all these selling platforms, and God knows what you're supposed to do if you are an individual with your WooCommerce website and you're selling products on there like I do. Well, I'm hoping that there's going to be a plugin available so we can actually transition into this a lot simpler, because we're going to have to add all this information into our listings. At the moment, we're just going to have to do it manually. and maybe even HTML code. Where it's just gonna be hell. It's just gonna be a nightmare. Anyway, so what did they have to say?
This. Should I panic? Should I take action? What action should I take? There's fear and worry.
There is.
That's the main thing. So we're here to tell you, don't panic.
Don't panic.
There's nothing.
That can't be that. Don't panic. Don't panic. So, oh my god, they got 70-odd thousand subscribers as well.
Nothing too much to worry about, really.
We'll explain in more detail as we go, but that leads us into a general question we put forward was, or we wanted to let eBay know, people are just going to switch off Europe because they are so worried about this, worried about getting it wrong, worried about any repercussions, and we can touch on that a little bit later. What are the repercussions? So for those people that messaged and said, I'm just going to switch off Europe, in fact, I already have in some cases.
Now, that's not advice. That's obviously what some people are saying they're doing. It's not going to help someone, though, if they're using the Amazon platform. Because when I looked last, you couldn't actually turn off Ireland and the United Kingdom off separately. It was just, if you're a seller, you just turn off the UK. Well, actually, the Northern Ireland happens to be in the United Kingdom. Or this United Kingdom, Let them be free. The people of Scotland want their freedom, okay? They're sick and tired of Westminster rule. Give them their freedom. Anyway. And I'm an Englishman, alright, saying that. So, the thing is, you see, Northern Ireland is a special case. It has the Windsor framework. Basically it means that they're treated as though they are a trading partner with the European Union, which complicates matters for English or Scottish or Welsh businesses wanting to export into Northern Ireland. They've got to abide by the same rules as though they're exporting it into France, for instance. That's what they've got to do. Now, Northern Ireland can sell goods into England without any problems. They ain't got to do anything any different, all right? But England has to abide by all the rules to sell into Northern Ireland. And Northern Ireland, right, even though it's in the United Kingdom, because it's been treated as a part of the European Union, if they want to sell to themselves, they've still got to abide by the General Product Safety Regulation, even though they're actually in the UK. But because it's part of the Windsor Framework, you see, they're treated as though they are a part of the EU regarding trade. So that isn't going to help, obviously. If Amazon hasn't updated that or changed it, or any other sites, it's going to be a bit awkward for people. It really is. Now, eBay, you can actually just turn off the EU, but then they'd be turning off Northern Ireland as well. So you won't be able to export into Northern Ireland. So if you want to export into the Northern Ireland, well then, quite frankly, you're going to have to abide by the rules, which means updating all the information required, whether it be the importers, the manufacturers, all that sort of stuff, obviously from stuff in China, technically chemicals, etc., etc., etc. It gets complicated and time-consuming. So likely you might have to get some help with that, but also you're going to need your designated person, for which you need their contact details, and ideally someone that you can rely on long term. Because if you are selling products, you're printing this stuff or sticking labels onto your products, you need to make sure that the contact details don't, run out. That maybe you've got somebody new. You don't want constantly reprinting everything, do you? It might be a good idea to have a contact email that is forwarded maybe to whoever you're going to use as your designated person, or a forwarding phone number or something like that. A different way to contact them. So there is a point of contact in the EU, but it's done through a forwarding or whatever to whatever person supplying you with the service, because there's going to be a lot of people popping out of the woodwork providing this as a service as a designated person. Some people ain't going to want the hassle of it, and some of these people providing services are going to be looking at, what do you do? Is it likely to have repercussions? Is it likely to be something to be returned? You know. However, anyway, so it's because the onus and the responsibility gets put onto them, and they're not going to want to do more work than they have to do unless they're getting paid for it. But let's carry on with these two numpties. Nice numpties, I suppose.
We can say, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't need to. And when again, we can explain more about why. The other thing that people were saying is, can I just ignore this and do nothing? Is that an option? Do I have to put lots of time and effort into worrying about this and updating all my listings? Can I just put my head in the sand and do nothing? We put that exact question forward, and the answer is yes, actually.
Yeah. No!
You can, with a caveat or two. We'll go into that in more detail.
Great caveat. That's not the one you're talking about. No. What they're referring to is eBay. eBay has said they're not going to reprimand the sellers if they make a mistake, or if they haven't actually uploaded the information yet on eBay, for argument's sake. Amazon have not said that. Amazon will probably reprimand you. But eBay has said that it won't be on an account basis. They'll remove the listing or hide the listing until you've uploaded the information, and they also will contact you. That's what eBay has said. The problem comes, though, is that if eBay never says anything to you and it just carries on because you've slipped through the system, you can end up getting a whopping great fine from the EU. And the likelihood is they're going to apply the fines through the actual selling platforms. I don't mean no escaping it, or I doubt they will anyway. Now, when you consider that there's with the EU, it's generally a minimum fine or 6% of turnover, it can be quite scary amounts of money. So you have to be very, very careful. Don't follow that advice. Don't stick your head in the sand. If you want to carry on selling in the EU or Northern Ireland, you need to actually make sure that you've uploaded the relevant information. Period. Don't mess about with it. Just find out what you need to do. And this is an evolving thing. There's new information coming out all the time at the moment. It's, like I said earlier, it feels like it's the government's being caught with their pants down with this. It's like they didn't know. It's bizarre. Really bizarre. Useless a lot. Anyway, what do you reckon to this? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you not? Do you think you want to be protected? Because obviously the EU is a protectionist racket. It's protecting the people. See, those in the EU also need to abide by the regulations, but they don't have to worry about the, well, they do, but it could be them. Yeah. It's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. Anyway, don't forget to hit the old like button and maybe subscribe to the channel and a little bell icon, because then you get one face in your pocket every time I upload another video. And a little sport channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us coffee in the links down below. I'd like to say thank you to people who have actually done that already, because it's such a kind thing to do. Because the channel wouldn't be alive without your support. It really wouldn't. And those members and what have you, and the Patreon members, well, it makes all the difference, you see. It's, people think, oh, yeah, Debbie, it's free. It's not free. You count for your time. And there's a lot of research, a lot of work has to go into finding out about this stuff. Primarily, I want to help people, but it'd be quite nice to have to keep your head above water as well at the same time. But it is. Oh, blimey. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So toodaloo, so toodaloo.